imagine you're driving and you hear a notification pop up on your phone and you automatically assume that it's someone who you've been waiting to respond to you all day. Now imagine you pick up your phone to look at the notification and you hit somebody because you're not paying attention to the road. Now imagine that that text message wasn't even who you thought it was going to be in the first place. And this is the outcome of that. I've gathered information from real police officers in Yakima, the Federal Communications Commission, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and the established law on texting and driving, also being someone who has shamefully texted and driven before. I will elaborate on 3 main points for this topic. In the society that we live in, technology is always at our fingertips, and we feel like we need to respond immediately to anyone that's trying to reach out to us or anything in general that we are receiving on our phone. Texting and driving should be less easily accessible and should be illegal in all states. And my final point is, without the dangerous act of texting and driving, we would have better drivers, we would have less accidents, and we would have fewer deaths. For my first point, I would like to elaborate on the fact that we live in a society where technology is always at our fingertips, and many people feel like they need to immediately stop whatever they're doing to respond to a text message, even if they're driving and putting their life on the line. We need to stop texting and driving. Distracted driving is the #1 reason for teen deaths in the US. Your eyes are taken off the road, so you're unable to be fully aware of what's going on in front of you. This problem was not happening 20 years ago because there was not technology to distract people from the road, and obviously there were less casualties, there were less fatalities, and the world was just safer on the roads. Now they are so common, technology is so common, that this issue has increased rapidly, extremely fast over the past 10-20 years. Stephen Sealer, an expert in psychology, states that the Center for Disease Control estimates that 31% of adults text while driving. Regardless of many awareness-raising campaigns, increasingly strict laws, and research provided evidence, many people in the United States still choose to text while driving. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, there are 3 types of distraction: taking one's hand off the wheel, which is manual distraction; taking one's eye off the road, for visual distraction; and taking one's mind off of driving for cognitive distraction. Using a cell phone while driving takes all 3 of these distractions. As you can see, texting while driving is very dangerous, and it's an offense that should not be underestimated or taken lightly. For my second point, texting and driving should be less accessible and should be made illegal in all states. Phones should be silenced while driving and out of reach. People should download an app that prevents texting while driving. Phone companies should also install locking software to prevent texting while driving. While most states have banned texting and driving completely, some states have secondary enforcement. This means that one can get off with a warning before one has to commit an offense like running a stop sign or something minor before they are charged for texting and driving. So it is not the main worry for the system. According to the Federal Communications Commission, currently there is no national ban on texting or using a wireless phone while driving, but a number of states have passed laws banning texting and driving or are requiring wireless hands-free systems. And this is what you see in cars, and basically you can speak to your system and it texts or calls whoever you are trying to reach. While most states have acknowledged this issue, it should be a nationwide law, and it should be regulated better and be more watched. More than 80% of drivers admit to using their phones or doing other unnecessary things while driving, making the roads extremely dangerous. Now that I've gone over the need and the solution for the topic, I will now discuss my last point. This is, if the offense was to be stopped completely, we would have better drivers, less car accidents, and fewer deaths. The Federal Communications Commission reported that in 2015, that driver's distraction was the cause of 18% of all fatal crashes. 3,328 people were killed and 421,000 people were injured. If we ban the usage of phones in cars and stricter laws, these numbers would clearly be much lower. And if they were regulated better and states followed and people followed the correct regulations, this would not be an issue. It would be for car accidents, but not as high. The obsession of people with their phones and social media is clear to be more important than their own lives and the lives around them. This must be stopped to prevent more loss of life. So, in conclusion, next time you get a message, imagine yourself in the potential victim's shoes. Imagine that this person may have kids in the car that you are also putting at risk of getting in a car accident and injuring them that could result in trauma for the rest of their life. Imagine the anger, the sadness, and the fear that you would all feel, and these emotions would take over and you would not be able to control what you were feeling. Because this person would have to endure all of those emotions. These are the three main emotions in the system, or not the system, just the process of dealing with it. So, how can you stop texting and driving? Invest in a Bluetooth speaker calling system. A decent one does not cost more than $25, and it would at least help the situation if you feel the need to talk to someone, even though they should be out of reach completely. Although the system is great, it would be even better if people could just refrain from using your phone at all while driving, because even the talking system takes the cognitive distraction because you are focusing on something else rather than the road even while you're looking at it. I challenge you to put down your phone. I challenge you to put it in your glove box or in your trunk while you're driving so that it is completely out of reach and to get where you are going safely. And also, you should speak to your friends and family about this issue as well, because it is very significant in the US and it is the cause of most fatalities on the road. So a metaphor that I want to leave and remind you anytime you're tempted to look at your phone is do not tempt fate because your text can wait, which is very true. You can wait a few minutes as long as you have the patience and refrain from using your phone. This can save lives and this can save your life as well. Thank you for listening.